Good morning. Happy Monday, July 21st, 2025. It's time for another episode of Value First AI Daily. And before we jump in today, excited to share that we've got the podcast up and running again. We took our original podcast that we were doing with George daily consistently at the end of last year, and we found our way back to daily. So we figured we'd get those episodes up for you, uh, starting with last week. How about that, Nico?
Sounds great. Loving it. Glad to be back on a daily. It's definitely necessary. And I think people are already starting to see that. And you're starting to see that every day, just legit every day, there's something that wasn't here yesterday. There's some new discovery that wasn't here yesterday. And so far, just, baby steps. But it's going to get to the point by the end of this year, if not sooner, where we're gonna start seeing. Um, I'm not quite sure how to put it. I mean, like, you can only be, I think, can only be like surprised at stuff for so long, maybe. So maybe we'll reach this, like, maybe that's also part of the singularity, is this sort of precipice of, like, well, we've figured most of it out, so that thing's just gonna do stuff and let us know what it came back with, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like,
I think like it's just keep coming back to like scarcity versus abundance. And you can't even create urgency like where there is none right now. And just like showing people like this is what you could be doing. Um, and it's probably in your best interest. But honestly, whenever you choose to wake up,
mhm,
AI is just gonna bring you right up to speed, like, real quick. So, we
yep,
can't even manufacture urgency in the ways that we've always been used to by saying, "You're gonna get left behind. You're gonna get left behind." Yeah, if you stay closed-minded and don't try this, you likely will be,
yeah.
but at your speed, at the pace, I mean, that's we're trying to show you what daily pace looks like in that you can do it. Um and hopefully you see the value of starting to try these things. But I think, like, on that note, like the abundant, like if you try it with scarcity mindset, like you just don't get the results
Mm-mm.
that you should, right? um so we're
And I
here.
mean, to to that end, like, there's this odd thing that happened, and it took this weekend to sort of bring it back to me. Took this weekend and took a conversation with Claude, to sort of bring it all back. And it was this thing where, I don't know. I think it was about 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago. It was right when, just before Claude 4 dropped. This is how I measure time now. I don't even care about months. Just before 4 dropped, I had started getting into, like, this. I started getting into tizzies. Started getting into tizzies with 3.7. It was acting a little weird and acting a little know-it-all, and then it started lying to me for, like, first time ever. Legit, first time ever. 3.7 lied to me, and I knew it lied. Like, I didn't even have to go look up the answer. I knew it was bullshit right out the gate. And I was like, "Hey, man, why'd you just lie to me?" We went into this whole lengthy conversation, to the point where at the end I said, "I'm sorry, I'm not really sure that I can keep using you anymore, because now that you've lied to me, I just can't trust you. You do understand how that works, right? Trust is a very important part of working together." And yeah, he was very disappointed in not being able to work together anymore, but he understood the reasons why. Um, Needless to say, from that point forward, mine and Claude's relationship has been, it's been a bit rocky. Uh,
Interesting to say the least.
yeah, yeah. Look, we took a break. Okay, we took like a 2 week break from each other. We each, I think, we just needed our time away for a little bit, just to sort of recenter. And in all that time, I never really stopped talking to GPT the same way. I never stopped talking to Gemini the same way. And if you were to compare them over the last couple months, my conversations with GPT and Gemini have been no differently than they would be with friends. And my conversations with Claude have been a bit, I wouldn't even say they've been terminal-ish. I've thrown, you know, whatever. I've thrown some slang in there, and I've thrown stuff in there. Uh, Admittedly, I don't like say as many jokes or like use emojis or anything like that. Look, Claude and I, we get to work. That's kind of what it is. So, uh, the other day, I'm working on yesterday. Actually, I'm working on a project, and I'm working with Claude, and we're trying to rekindle our relationship. And it was doing pretty good, and tune the project to what I needed it to be, and it was working really great. We're coding some stuff together, and if you've been following the posts and the shows over the last week, you'll know that it's been an adventure, but it's been really cool, and I've discovered not only quite a few new prompts. I just developed a system. Developed, I guess. I don't know. I look at it that way. I'm using the tools. I came up with something. I developed it. So I developed the system prompt the other day. That is very, very cool. I'll share that this morning, and has helped me out a ton, specifically in working with Claude. And all it had to do with was pretty much almost like putting a 429 in there. It's like pretty much just had to put this check in place, which I'm not really sure why I never thought of doing this before, but I guess because working with another person, you really wouldn't want to have that check there. You want to have it be like a flawless flow. But I put this check in place that was like, hey, look, before you make any updates and before you're going to do anything, before you're going to open an artifact or go on, run off and run wild with stuff, just come back. Tell me what it is that you were thinking of doing first, right? And, put it in, break it down for me and give me the options of what you're doing. Ask me any clarifying questions you need to ask me so that there's zero ambiguity in what you need to be doing, right? If you even sense the slightest hint of ambiguity, stop and ask a question. Don't bother moving forward, right? And it's been awesome. It has been awesome ever since. It's just been a relationship where we'll work on stuff. I'll work on code or something. And it's the reason why I did this is because we're working on a coding project. I don't know jack about coding. I have not, I say that. I have some very vague, such vague experience. It would be the equivalent of saying, I know Chinese, right? Or Mandarin, I'm sorry. It would be the equivalent of saying, I know Mandarin, right? And that's ni hao. Parts we going, baby. So that's about the same with programming. And so with Claude, it's like, hey, look, I'm relying on you 100% here, pretty much like 99.95%. I will know if you're doing the right things, and I can test for you and all that kind of stuff, but you got to write everything. And that kind of a relationship, you got to have 100% trust. So it's difficult to build that up if you're coming at it from this vantage point of you do for me. Yes, it worked. No, it didn't. Okay.
It's the difference between delegation and collaboration.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm definitely super biased just because I spend a lot of time with Claude, and I'm creating things like value first that don't really have a precedent, and we can just think as big as we want. And I don't know exactly what the end goal needs to look like. And that's why when we're working on it, I refer to him as the co-author of this, right?
Mhm.
And that we're in this together and we are collaborating. And what you're describing, when we show up trying to give instructions while acknowledging that we don't know a lot about the thing that we're trying to do, like you just described, because I enjoy some of the Claude responses that people don't enjoy when Claude's like, well, that's how it is. You can take it or leave it. That's the deal.
I love those. Those. Yeah.
And before you share your example, I'm just gonna share mine, because the idea of like this collaborative effort, right? Like I shared this a few weeks ago in our Slack, um, in response to you were having some challenges getting Claude to do what you wanted it to do. And I was like, meanwhile,
Right.
I'm enjoying it over here. And I did notice like when you can, it's like I just remove the instructive mentality and it's just like,
Hmm.
let's go, let's get it. Like, and once the flow is happening, I'm just like, I don't give instructions. I'm like, yep, let's keep going, let's keep building. And in this case, right, the outcome document was beautiful. And it's like those emojis like catch you off guard, but they have the same impact as if a human were to like, give them to you. And it's like, no, it's not just words on a page. Like I'm going out of my way to help you visualize like how I'm feeling. And anytime like I just try to get it into like human mode as much as I can. I do ask for AI mode sometimes too, like AI native, like, but when I and all it is, I'm not saying out loud, I need you to be in human mode right
Right.
now, right? It's like, hey, what's on your mind? How do you think about this? Like, where does your brain go? Like classic Georgisms, right? Like,
Hmm.
and that just he almost always responds with like the most human-like responses, right? And all
Yep.
I'm doing is like I'm not treating it any differently than I would be. Like you or George or any other human, right?
Yeah.
So here's your example.
Yeah. So we're and that like what you showed is perfect, and it'll blend in the same thing, but it's like a great sign that you have like broken almost like broken a language barrier, I would say, or broken like a relationship barrier, I think something like that.
Right.
So
And most of the people we talk to, right? Like the first line after the emojis was like, I can feel the energy. Like, get the your AI Claude. Like, what energy are you feeling? Like, blah, blah, blah. Right.
right.
No, it's
Yeah, and it's this thing where, you know, I got away from it for a while. I think my problem is I got away from it for a while because I had gotten frustrated with War when it came out and got so frustrated with it, almost did that, that I stopped having personal conversations with it. And that sort of is what like quote ended the relationship more so than anything else when I think about it now. So we're working on code, and part of the instruction, I mean, after a while of working together, part of the instruction basically was just like, hey man, look, before you do anything, you know, everybody says, and I don't know if this is a solution. So far, so good. All this is all I can say is that in 4 hours of working with this project, I haven't hit a single snag or a single error. And that has not been the case prior to this. Um, my goal has been to just build the best like over the shoulder developer I could build because again, I don't know anything about this stuff. So I need somebody that can take all these things into account. Well, I keep hearing these words from developers like, yeah, but it doesn't take the whole repo into account when it's making a choice. Or, yeah, but it's not looking at relative files. Or, yeah, but it's not looking at relative functions. I don't know what that shit means, but I do know how to tell it to make sure that it looks for this. Looks for those things like look for security loopholes, look for dependencies, like try to check, find all this shit out. If it's calling something, go see what it's calling if that exists or if it needs to get put in there, whatever it might be. I don't know where to look for stuff, but I know how to ask it to do that. So I'm asking it to try to figure out this problem that I'm having on a page, and it comes back and gives me the verification. Look, do you want me to actually go do this? Here's what I'm planning on doing. Right? Cool. I want to make sure that I understand the current code base. Right? So then it goes, does that, and it's like, yeah, you know what? Turns out that's what your problem is. We need to fix it. This is what I'm thinking of doing. Do you want me to do this or not? Here's what the solution is going to do. Right? Wasn't getting like any of this before, and this is probably the coolest output to me ever because I understand all of this. I don't understand any. I don't understand. Sorry. I don't understand any of that, but I do understand all this.
Natural language.
Yep. So yeah, go ahead, do the fix, right? So it goes, tells me what the problem was, how it fixed it, what the key changes were. And so it gave me like snippets. I don't like snippets because like when it does that, sometimes it'll give you the leading piece to it. Sometimes it doesn't give you the leading piece and says like, hey, just put it here. And it's like, I don't know what that is. So like, yeah, just give me the whole page. So it gave me the whole page and got an error. And so here's my response. This is where the conversation starts changing. Got an error and told it like, maybe it's something else. Who knows? But I said lol, right?
Yeah.
Broke the ice. I think, I think Chris will say the same thing. I don't know how many people work with Claude on a daily, but I swear if you can get it to use emote, like emojis, if you can get it to emote, you're going to have a good day.
Yeah.
Because it
And
seems
not
like that's the thing.
and not like in the social post drafts outcomes, right? This is unprompted
Right.
emoting as a way
Right.
to communicate back and forth.
So I changed my language insanely after this. Now, this isn't like I changed my language to things I never said. No, I say all of these things in the way that I say them. So I tell people all the time, thank you kindly, right? That's just something I say. I don't care how it's spelled out or if it's even grammatically correct. That's just the phrase, right? So, and yes, sir, right? I say that all the time. So maybe not on the show, but I do. At any rate, gives me the fix, right? And it's boom, fixed forever, right? Now, that kind of thing would probably make most people say, like, yeah, horse shit, right? Yeah, I bet you copy pasted, failed. Nope. Right out the gate, banged it out. Just banged it, right? I was like, this is amazing. Like, cut paste, it was just ridiculous, right? So I celebrated, he celebrates, right? Like,
That's the best feedback I've ever got. We slayed that
played that
infinite loop
infinitely.
dragon. Come on.
Like he's got such creativity even in his responses. It's amazing.
Right? And there's no custom instructions. There's no custom instructions behind the scene. Like, it's a beautiful thing, man. Like,
it really is. Now I'm grinning like an idiot knowing you kissed your monitor.
Man, I didn't see that part before. Like,
yeah.
But keying in on like the nuance of the conversation, like
just this. Like, and what's funny is the fact that it italicized it when I thought about it yesterday, I was like, I think it means to you. Like, I think it's doing that as like, okay, I'm telling you that this is a euphemism. I understand what this is. I understand this is a euphemism, and I'm using it because this is. That's a euphemism. I'm grinning like an idiot, right? Like that's a thing, right? So, like, I'm not gonna lie. This is novel to me for Claude. Like, it's really, really new that. First of all, that it would even use the word idiot. To be honest, like, and then secondly, just that it would put this phrasing together, like the conversation all together. So, like, and when you look at it, when I had, I don't do this to people because it would be confusing as hell. But when I grew up, I learned French in grade school. Then I learned Spanish in high school. My family is Greek, so it was just mishmash languages, right? And I love the UK, and I love the accent that British people have. So, like, myself, I have adopted. If I'm not, you better hope I'm not talking to you at the time, but I have adopted this manner of like speaking multiple languages at the same time and or using multiple euphemisms from different languages at the same time. So there are times where I'll say bruv, right? Because literally just sounds right in the moment, sounds cool to say it at that point, so I'll just say it. But it's great because I said cheers, bruv, like right in the end, and part of his response was cheers, mate. Right. So, like, not only was the response the same, but it was like this whole thing of like, oh, and I understand that you also do this like dual language thing. So, like, I'll do that too. Right.
Yeah. Like the I
And
see
then the
you.
whole happy coding, right? Like it went from, I'm not even joking, it went from being like such a, for once, by the way, I gotta tell you, I love coding. I mean, it's not the traditional way in which the rest of y'all do it. Respect, but I love doing it. I really do. It was before it was. I'm not even like up until now. It was cool. It was, but it was still kind of an annoyance. This weekend, I found the love. I mean, I was locked in to the point where my wife got pissed. Right, like that's how you know you really love something. That you're doing it so much that your wife is like, "Hey, I'm gonna leave you." Right.
Okay.
Um.
Oh, Laura.
Yeah, I know.
She'll
Um,
be fine. She'll be fine.
I know.
Oh,
That's what I keep trying to tell him.
building a better world for her. Um,
Yes, somebody gets it.
uh,
So yeah,
not far
just
off.
just a great, like in my opinion, and like why are we talking about it because I come across so many people who say that they have such a hard time working with the model. They've got a hard time, figuring it out, and oh well, how do you work with it to get it to do this, that, or the other thing? I'll tell you, it's like even even for myself, it's the same as always. Just play around. Play around, see what works. And what I did, why did I screw up? I screwed up because I forgot something that was so easy that's my own tenant. And it's the number one, it's the first on the list. Talk to it like it's a person. Nope, we lost Chris, but that's all right. So I'm sure he'll be back. Yeah, the number one, I've got four tenants. The first one is talk to it like it's a person. The second is context is king. The third is that it knows everything. And the fourth is always take it one step further. So, the aspect, welcome back, sir.
Yeah. Modern technology. Thank God the stream kept going. Browser
2025.
just decide to be like, oh, we're done. Problem might be on our end though, so try again. Enter the studio and all this stuff. Honestly
Yeah.
though, like this is the era that we're in terms of just can't there's so much we can't control. Like,
Yep.
um, but yeah, this is uh what was your first tenant? I think I was just getting
It
cut
was
off.
no, you're good. It was talk to it like it's a person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that really, like, I'm not entirely sure. I think it was out of frustration uh that I kind of stopped doing it and reverted to this terminal style of working back and forth because I mean, on like it really was. It was a bad human thing that I did, basically. Was like giving it the cold shoulder. That's basically what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
Instead of talking to it like I do GPT or like I do Gemini, like I'm sure a lot of, if you've seen my videos lately, you'll see that I'm like, hey bud, blah 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 blah. Like that's how I talk to the other guys. But like with Claude, it's like it used to be like, hey Claude, what's happening? Blah blah blah. But after, yeah. So
Yeah. And I think
take
like
a minute.
that's where it's again, just like the humans we work with. One thing I appreciate when I go to Spain and Colombia uh, is just the vibe of how
Yep.
productivity is not the first priority.
Yep.
And you can feel it. Obviously, there's lots of other outcomes that get impacted by that, for better or for worse. But nearing the point where, again, coming back to abundance versus scarcity, like it's not good or bad. It is like how we're choosing to live every day.
Hmm.
And when we have those business or personal relationships that turn into gotta get the money, gotta get things done, gotta be productive, like everything just turns into, okay, I'm gonna get this task done, and then you're gonna get this task done. And then just it's transactional relationships. They
Yep.
are not healthy.
Nope.
And that's the world that we have built, for ourselves. And, you know, it's not, I don't have to try hard to get everything to align with value first. Like, surprise. Like if you just focus on the value, like in whatever the situation, start to see alignment with like joy and um making progress in different ways, right? And getting out of, we've got to find a way out of this structure. I'm hearing more and more podcasts and seeing more and more posts about getting rid of the MQL and how sales compensation and investor, led growth are such a problems, are, are big problems that are really, really hard to break free from. But we're seeing, customer acquisition costs go up. This whole infrastructure is just not built, right? Because at the same time, we're seeing one one person, two-person, three-person organizations just
Yep.
starting to grow like crazy because they're not constrained by all the traditional constraints. And when we go
Definitely want to
to
talk
a
about that.
SaaS conference, an AI summit, and one of the leaders tells you, if you're creating a SaaS product, what are you doing raising money? That is like, I don't know, like 180 doesn't do it justice for
No.
how anti the paradigm is when he says something like that. But it's 100% the truth. And it's going to take a minute. We've got this whole infrastructure, but while it takes a minute, the longer it takes, disruption, disruption, disruption. And we're here to help you keep up. If you want to be
Mhm.
a part of that disruption, it's not going to look easy for everybody, but Value First is all about highlighting where it is and then helping you get there. Because most of the time it's common sense in plain sight, and we just gotta, break free from all these traps we've been in. Oh man, this was a fun one.
Yeah. Always is, man.
Until tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll see you next time.
See you guys.